What's up, gang?
Dana, I guess overall thoughts. I mean, you had, as you said, one of the best fights we've ever seen on Contender Series, some incredible knockouts as well. So is there anything out of these five tonight that particularly stands out to you this evening?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if anything stands out, you got to look at Malcolm. Malcolm was the standout of the night. Comes out, finishes impressively, 8-0, 6 finishes, and you couldn't possibly look any better than he looked tonight, you know what I mean? He's the current MMA champion at 135 pounds and conflict MMA, 30 years old, time to go. So get him in there and get him some fun fights.
Yeah, you look pretty spectacular. Bogdan and Aswell, you say the best fight ever. I guess not really 2 contracts, 1.5 contracts. Is that kind of what? So Aswell, you're saying?
No, not 1.5. I mean, listen, Bogdan won. It was an incredible fight. I gave them both their show and win and a bonus. So they both made great money tonight. And then Aswell has literally a cut this big on his eye right now. So that's going to take a while to heal properly. And then if anything falls out, Sean Shelby will put him right in the UFC.
Yeah. Do you have any word on his eye at all? I mean, I guess how bad it is, how his stitches, anything? What?
No, I went back there and it was bad. It's a bad cut. So usually they go in and sew them from the inside out, and maybe he'll get some big-ass scissors and take the stitches out himself. And any other questions?
I was going to keep talking about Contender Series.
I knew that was coming.
But
trust
since you
me.
touched on that, do you want to touch?
I had to touch on it before. Somebody was going to go at me with that one.
Obviously, referring to Merab Dvalishvili once again taking to social media to.
Isn't he awesome? I think he's just fucking with me now, to be honest with you.
Have you spoken directly to him? I mean, obviously you were pretty public in what you said, but have you reached out to him and said, "Bro, what are you thinking?" Or
no. Do what you want. Do what you want.
All right, we'll leave.
Did you ever see the scissors they take stitches out with?
They don't look like those usually.
They're tiny, and they have that thing on there so you don't cut yourself. You know what I mean? They can slide them up under the stitches, and you don't cut yourself. And this dude had like fucking bush shears that he was using that you trim your fucking bushes with, the gardeners use. Whatever. Good for him.
All right. I was going to ask you about the bonuses. Are you able to disclose how much the value of those bonuses was?
Yeah, so both those guys got $5,000.
Awesome. So they get the full pack. Is that something you do very often behind the scenes, or is that kind of a
I don't
rare
think I've ever done it. I don't know if I've ever done it. If I've ever done it, I don't remember it.
Nice. All right. Well, it was a special night. The other one that was unique tonight that I wanted to ask you about was the rematch, right, with Dovey and Piccinini. What if they don't want a rematch? What if they don't agree?
They don't have to do anything. Then don't.
Look for another opportunity, or
absolutely, yeah. The kid's undefeated. He can do what he wants. He's not under any obligation with us whatsoever. But if you're smart, you make the rematch. You come back, episode 10, and you get some heat behind it, and I'm sure some people will want to see it, and not, I'm sure it'll be a fun fight. He knows what he needs to work on. He's already faced him, so go back to the drawing board, work on some things he needs to work on, and I thought it was a better option than just saying, listen, you can't come in here and just try to hold somebody down and think you're going to get a contract. I actually thought, I told you, the significant strikes, he more than doubled significant strikes. 76 to 32. You saw 18 nasty leg kicks that landed to nothing. 18 to nothing. He clearly won the fight. The judges made a bad decision on that one. This kid's going to get the opportunity to come back and face the same guy and get to work on some of his mistakes. And if he takes the opportunity, awesome. And if he doesn't, that's fine too. It's up to him. It's his career.
I love it. All right, 2 other quick ones outside of tonight. I wanted to ask you about Saturday. Kyle Bahayo, what you thought of his performance. You got number 5 in the rankings. This is a new top 5. What do you think of his performance and kind of where he stands?
Yeah, I mean, the card this weekend was awesome. The whole card was great. And, I'm happy for him. Yeah. Those opportunities, man, you take them and that's what happens.
Very nice.
Love it.
Last thing for me, there were some reports coming out today that WWE is talking about moving their performance center here to Las Vegas. Does that have anything to do with the Apex?
It's none of my business.
So you're not aware of it or anything? Well, you may be aware of it.
I know nothing about it. It's none of my business. Let the WWE talk about their business.
Dana, did you see anybody that you said you would project, hey, this guy's going to be a star, like tonight, that you saw Malcolm or anybody that really stood out that way to you?
Yeah, I thought Duffy looked good. That's the other thing you got to look at. Duffy was a 4-1 dog. He was a 4-1 dog in that fight. I thought Malcolm looked great. Yeah, I liked Andre. I liked his listen, Liam. How tough is Liam? I mean, this guy is an absolute dog. But Andre's shown some signs of a really high fight IQ. I loved how every time that Liam would put that leg forward, he would kick it every time he put it forward. Some of the combinations he threw, some of the counter punches he threw, he was fun to watch. He's only 26 years old. Give that guy a little more experience and get him into the UFC, see how he feels, see how he looks. You know, do I think this guy's going to be a big star? I have no idea. But my two guys tonight were Duffy and Malcolm. You know, and obviously I respect Daniel Cormier, and he thinks very highly of Nick. Nick just didn't show it tonight. But Nick's going to have the opportunity to go back, work on some things, and come back and change my mind.
As you're making your evaluation and you're looking at the fighters, do you kind of say, okay, how would he look against ex-UFC fighter? Like, do you project that far out, like, and just try to imagine them? No,
I don't think about that at all. We don't even talk about that stuff until we get back into matchmaking.
And just last thing, and I mean, we talked about Finney last week over and over and over, but the one point you made about Torres Finney last week, you said that he didn't get any fights, and he was on SiriusXM, did an interview, and he said that he was on The Ultimate Fighter, and I just wanted to...
We were just talking about that. So what happened was, I guess, he got picked to do The Ultimate Fighter, and then they told him he couldn't fight for X amount of months, and then he ended up not getting picked. So I didn't know that till tonight. But yeah, he had a rough year.
Dana.
Yep.
I was just with Dricus du Plessis. Are you planning on keeping him on the sidelines and waiting for South Africa to kind of figure out, or are you going to try and fight him sooner than I guess South Africa?
Who are you talking about? Dricus?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'd like to fight him in South Africa.
And then Wayne Thong, she came. The performance of the Knights came out last week. She said that she didn't get a bonus, and then you said that you were out of town. You gave her $50K. I just wanted your thoughts on her debut.
Yeah. So I was out of town, and Sean, Mick, and Hunter were going over the bonuses, and they have their criteria on finishing Neil Magny. You know what I mean? And the rest of the bonuses that went out were absolutely the right choice and warranted. But when and they look at the girl that she beat was when a woman knocks another woman out like she knocked her out, I just felt she deserved $50,000, so I did it.
And I don't know if you know the story, but she beat Valentina Shevchenko in kickboxing, and there's like this rivalry. And I was just, with her being, I think she's 31, is there a chance that maybe you push her, not necessarily go the Alex Pereira route, but kind of maybe push her a little quickly?
Well, if you look at what the kickboxers have done in this sport, it's actually phenomenal. It starts with like Izzy and Joanna and Alex, and coming in from this from one-dimensional sport and being able to do what they've done here is incredible. So yeah, I wouldn't think that she can't do it too.
And I was just wondering if you saw your old pal Oscar De La Hoya's videos of him dancing in.
Unfortunately, yes, I did see those. Yes, and a new one came out today. It's yeah. Wow.
It was for cancer awareness, apparently. It's for a good cause.
What's that?
His videos were to raise awareness about cancer. It was for a good cause.
He definitely did that. He raised some awareness.
I just wanted to ask, did you spend some of your days this week just tagging Jon Jones in random Instagram posts that have nothing to do with him?
No. Did I mention to you guys that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time? Did I mention that? Yes.
Everyone knows that. It's him, Stipe, New York. So what's the delay in announcing it? Can we just officially announce it right now?
No, we still have fights in October that are coming up, and we're still working on the card. So it's not just about announcing a fight. It's about, we'll announce the card when the card is ready. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're targeting.
Dana, thank you for tonight. Two-part question.
Thank you.
On paper, the better card, name recognition, going up against #1 boxing guy. Can we expect that now for Mexican independence? And also, it's something that you probably never been asked before, like going head-to-head, no problem against Canelo in a couple of weeks. How crazy is that? How's the energy back there?
What do you mean? What's the question you're asking me?
That
We're going head-to-head with Canelo
With the
on
#1
Mexican
guy.
Independence Day.
And then also the standard that you guys continue setting with last year's Shevchenko, Grasso, and now leveling up with this and the Sphere. This is going to be the standard to where we have International Fight Week, Madison, Square Garden, yada yada, and then Independence is like a standard.
Yeah, I mean, we go to MSG every year, and yeah, I'm gonna go Mexican Independence Day every year here for the rest of my career at least, no matter what's going on.
And going up against Canelo, it's kind of insane that you guys are just going this hard in the paint against the #1 guy who's probably the only pay-per-view star they have right now.
Well, I didn't determine to go up against him. We were already going. That was our date. We were going on that date, and then they announced they were going. Listen, I told you last week about it. MGM's guaranteeing the gate for that fight. So, yeah, they're guaranteeing the gate. So, yeah, why would they not go on that date if MGM's going to put up all the money?
All right, thank you, sir.
Does it create any, I don't know what the right word would be, but like MGM Resorts, if they've got such an investment in Canelo and Mexican Independence Day, and you guys have got the deal with T-Mobile Arena, does it?
We went there last year. That was our date last year. And then without even asking us or talking to us, they gave the date away.
Traditionally, it is a boxing.
That's why I'm at the Sphere. I couldn't do the Sphere because I'm under contract with MGM. But because they fucked us, they let us do it.
You've said before that it's just a one and done, but with Riyadh season sponsorship, is the Riyadh season one and done for events in the US? Or could you leverage that sponsorship going forward to go back to the Sphere?
No, we wouldn't go to the Sphere, but yeah, we'll definitely do other things with them, during their season. I've created a great relationship with him, over the last couple of months, and I like him, and yeah, we're going to do some stuff together.
In the US, would the relationship be sponsorship?
Lots of things.
Can you elaborate?
No.
Dana, following up
Yeah.
on that Noche UFC, I know you said Sphere is one and done, so after this year, since you want to make Mexican Independence Day a staple in the UFC calendar, is it going to be kind of like a battle between you and Al Heyman to see who gets that date first every year?
No,
T-Mobile?
I don't. Listen, I don't think it's a battle. Listen, I said props to Al Heyman. He slid right in there before we were even done with the weekend and took the date from us without MGM even telling us. So, I told you before, Bill Hornbuckle's trying to fix this whole thing. That's why he gave me the Sphere this year, and I'm sure we'll get it figured out.
So Dana, just to clarify on that, so the way it worked out was you did your show at the T-Mobile, then MGM gave that date away for the next year.
And when I say MGM, it's the guys who
Yeah.
who run the arena who have been literally disrespecting us since day one of the relationship. So now Bill Hornbuckle, the guy who runs MGM, had to get in the middle of this thing and try to fix it. And that's how I ended up at the Sphere. It's a one and done. We'll be back with MGM, and hopefully, Bill can figure this thing out between us and the fucking guys that run the arena.
When they're offering the gate, though, so they're giving the date away and then offering the gate on top of it, doesn't that feel like an extra personal, like, we're definitely...
Extra kick in the balls? Yeah, that's what they do. This is what these guys have done for the last however many years. It's fucking crazy. There's a documentary coming out. I lay this shit all out in the documentary. You'll hear every little detail of what has happened with us in the MGM over the last 23 years. It's fucking crazy. You'll be like, what?
Is it just because they have like a big history with boxing and they look at the UFC as the content? Like what?
I just think that the guy who runs the arena has been a complete douchebag to us for 23 years. That's what I think. But, you know, again, Bill Hornbuckle's in the middle of this and trying to fix it.
Chris Balderson?
Whoever it is.
Dana, just to clarify.
Whatever his name is. Yeah.
Dana, just to clarify, before UFC Noche last year, before the fight weekend was over, they went
Yeah.
and got it?
Yeah. Yeah, they got the date. So after that event, I told my guy, Pete, get this date locked up next year. Again, it was already gone. It was already gone. Never called us, never asked us, never said, hey, we're giving the date away, never said, fuck you, never said anything.
Do you think
We called and it was already gone.
Do you think they really see you as a big competition then for them to work it that way?
Who, MGM?
Canelo's guys.
Nah, listen, you know, Heyman and Canelo are just doing their thing. You know, those guys, props to them. Good for them that you guys could actually slide in and steal the date from us that easily without a phone call, without anything. Just, you know, good for you. I would too if that's what I could do, right? But that's just a sliver of the disrespect that these guys at the arena have shown us over the last however many years. It's crazy.
If the business relationship has soured that much, have you looked at other possible sites in Las Vegas that aren't run by them?
You know, our deal will be up eventually, and we'll have to figure that out. But that's what I keep telling you. Bill Hornbuckle is in the middle of this thing, trying to figure it out and make it better.
Just I know you're a betting guy, so just to kind of lighten the mood, what would be? Do you think you'll get a bigger gate than Canelo?
Who knows? MGM's guaranteeing the gate.
Do you think you'll
Who
get,
knows what the gate will really be?
Do you think you'll get more pay-per-views?
I don't know. Listen, what I'm focused on that weekend is putting on a show that nobody's ever seen before. I'm more concerned about this show is so complex and there's so many different moving pieces to this thing being seamless and going off the way that I want. I'm more focused on that than any of this other MGM bullshit. So
I know you said this months ago that you'd already spent $17 million. Is that figure still accurate, or has it escalated?
we're at 20 now.
And how much is it per test run? Because I heard somebody in the UFC say it was $1 million every time to do a test run. Is that accurate?
This is an expensive show. This is an expensive show. And we have to move in there because they have other things going on. And when we go in there and rehearse, we're in there like from 1 in the morning until 7 in the morning rehearsing. So this is a beast, and I'm way more focused on all that stuff than all this other MGM shit or what they're doing or who's fighting that night. And that is what it is, you know. And we'll figure all that shit out after this event.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
I remember with the Noche UFC last year at the T-Mobile, you guys did the outdoor ceremonial weigh-ins and you were able to kind of use the outdoor area. I don't know if it was asked already. Are you guys trying to do anything along those lines over by the Sphere or anything like that? That whole outdoor ceremonial weigh-ins where the fans were able to kind of interact out there?
We actually have a town hall on Thursday at UFC, walking our employees through the whole event at the Sphere, and we're going to use that town hall to sort of figure out how we will lay this out for the media. It's going to be like our practice run with the staff on Thursday. So after Thursday, I'll have more answers for you guys on a lot of stuff.
Is Jon Jones the pound-for-pound GOAT?
Did what?
Is Jon Jones the pound-for-pound GOAT?
He's the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and he's the GOAT. And you all know this. Numbers don't lie.
Does he have pictures of you?
I saw that on the internet too. Are you guys that fucking stupid? You can't be that fucking stupid to think that Jon Jones is not the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world and the GOAT. But maybe you are.
He's not going to talk to any of us either, because right now,
What do you mean?
because he's watching this, and we're all saying, questioning you, and
Yeah. Question me. Who's better than Jon Jones? Who's pound for pound better than?
no, okay, John.
At what point does
Nope.
activity come into play, right? I mean, we all agree there is nobody better than Jon Jones. He's the greatest of all time. There's no question about it. But at some point when you're looking at rankings, they do have to represent what's happening in the organization at that moment, right at that time. And in the past 3 years, he's had one fight.
And you
Yeah.
thought he lost to Reyes.
Huh?
And when he fought Reyes, you said you thought Reyes won the fight.
He didn't win the fight. Jon Jones did.
But you said you thought he won the fight.
Who gives a shit? I'm not the fucking judges. The guy didn't win he didn't lose the fight. And the one loss that he has is from a referee that should have never been a referee in a million years. He's never lost. We were just talking tonight, these kids that come in here that are undefeated, you know how hard it is to stay undefeated? Jon Jones went through murderer's row. And when you talk about activity, and he's fought one time, but Jon Jones was supposed to fight. If Jon Jones was sitting on the couch and saying, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to fight again, then he's definitely not in the pound-for-pound discussion right now. He was scheduled to fight, and he got injured. He is an active fighter. He is absolutely an active fighter. And when you talk about pound-for-pound, and I don't want to shit on any of my other guys, but who is it right now? Islam? Islam, many people believe, lost to the guy who's a weight class below him. Is that how pound-for-pound works? Many people, including people in this room.
But he got the win. It doesn't matter what we
You're,
say.
you're absolutely right. But he fought a weight class down. He fought a weight class down. Jon Jones fought a weight class up. And let me tell you what, when all the guys were in there, you had the Jon Jones, the Anderson Silvas, and the George St. Pierres. I know who wanted to fight who and who didn't want to fight who. And Jon Jones has always been willing to fight everybody. You know what I mean? The only real mark with me with Jon Jones, it was his fucking team that he was with at that time, who I could tell you 50 fucking stories about. The Chael Sonnen fight, when they were refusing to fight Chael Sonnen, you know what I mean? But other than that, Jon Jones has fought everybody that's ever been put in front of him. He went through murderer's row, and if you look at who he fought at the time when he fought them, look at the record of the guys combined that he fought. And the list just goes on and on.
That makes him the greatest fighter of all time, not the greatest active fighter, because he is not an active fighter. He has fought one time in over 4 years.
He is an active fighter. He just got injured. He was going in.
But he hasn't fought.
And he was going in to fight at heavyweight again.
Okay.
A weight class above.
But that's
and he
not-
fucking destroyed the guy who was the best guy in the division.
But that's an unfortunate thing, and I think everybody here, if he was active, if he had fought one more time, would say he's number one.
He was active. He blew his
hasn't
fucking
been
shoulder out in training and then had to recover and is still coming back and fighting that fight.
So here's the argument. You could say that
He
we
is
don't know anything.
Jon Jones
You
is
could say we
active.
don't know. No, see, that's what you do. You talk over us, so we can't answer.
I apologize. You go ahead.
So if he fought and we don't put him number one, then you have that argument to say you don't know what the hell you're talking about. We are all, I think everybody in this room is saying he's the greatest fighter of all time. And I think most people in this room would say he is the number one pound for pound fighter of all time. But you can't just sit on your laurels from something you did 3, 4, 5 years ago.
When was the Cyril Gane fight?
Since Islam, he hasn't fought in 18 months.
Okay.
Okay, and it's going to be 20 months by the time he gets in the ring. So that, assuming he gets in the ring, right? We don't know he's going to be healthy. So all I think everybody is saying, and the argument against you, is the fact that most people who do pound for pound lists have a 1 year cutoff, unless they're, they had a fight scheduled at the time. So Jon fell out of pound for pound list because it was over a year and he didn't have a fight scheduled.
He did.
He doesn't have a
He did have a fight scheduled. and he got injured,
And so that, okay.
and now he does have a fight scheduled now.
How many times did we ask you, Dana, is he fighting? I don't know what's happening with Jon Jones. Like, just like you say about Conor now, right?
I did not say I don't know what's happening with Jon Jones. What I said was Jon Jones is injured, and he's recovering from his injury. Fucking common sense. Everybody knows that. This guy just said he knows he's fighting in fucking November. Well, I announce it. I said I'll announce it when the whole card is, but everybody knows he's fighting. It's fucking silly. And I don't know what this game is with everybody, but Jon Jones is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Until this fucking guy, and he has been he hasn't fought, what'd you say, 18 months since the Cyril Gane fight?
18 months and then 1 in 4 years.
So 18 months, he moved up and he fought Cyril Gane and destroyed him in a weight class above him, who was the #1 guy in the world, and in the UFC. Then we book another fight. He's training for the fight, blows his shoulder out, which means he's still active, gets surgery, recovering, and is scheduled to fight in November. He is an active fighter.
I think it's kind of like Bill Clinton's definition of is.
I don't even know what that means, but
That was when he was getting impeached, and then the lawyer, but forget that.
no, but he has been an active fighter. He's active. It's not like Jon Jones was not active and was not accepting fights. And I also believe, because I know how Jon Jones is, Jon Jones fights and beats Stipe. If he wins, I think he fights Aspinall. So it's all just, this is some little fucking game we're all playing that I don't understand.
Well, and
He is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and he's the
I think
greatest
the
of all
last
time.
point of this
And
is-
you don't have to like him. It's not like me and Jon Jones are fucking,
I like
buddy-buddy.
Well, I like Jon Jones, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I will say that I've had my share of arguments with him just like you have, but I like him. But I think the last thing is, too, who he is fighting, right, coming up. So everybody in this room thinks Aspinall is more highly rated than Stipe at this point. Stipe's reputation is fantastic, but he has not won a fight since he beat DC in 4 years. So that also plays into it. Partially a factor when you have a guy like Aspinall knocking Sergey Pavlovich out in a minute, Curtis Blades in less than a minute, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
That's just me.
No, I don't disagree with you. But here's the flip side to that. So what do? A guy who's looked at as the greatest heavyweight in the UFC, right? This fight set up, Jon Jones gets hurt. Not his fault. He has to wait and go back into fucking training camp again. He was training. So do I just yank it away from Stipe and say, hey, go fuck yourself and sit on the sidelines for 2 more years? Or you know what I mean? If I did that, you guys would be like, oh, you fucking disrespected the greatest heavyweight ever. And you know what I mean? So would the fucking fans. So I should just shit on Stipe because Jon got hurt and not make the fight that he was already supposed to fight.
We'll end it here, but I'll talk to you later.
What?
Okay, then the answer to that would be you should have had Stipe fight Aspinall or somebody else, right? In the interim, because how do you qualify for a title shot when you have not fought since 2021, and you lost that fight? How do you qualify for a title shot sitting out for over 3 years and just sitting on the sidelines waiting when you're trying to say who is the best fighter in the world? Should you not be active and be competing and be beating? You said yourself, and Hunter has said that the UFC heavyweight division is the best it's ever been, right? So should he not be challenging himself against those fighters? So when Jon got hurt, instead of saying Stipe versus Pavlovich, Aspinall versus Pavlovich, why not Stipe versus Pavlovich or Stipe versus Aspinall at that point? That would be the argument.
So I have two legends in the sport that wanted to fight each other. These guys are lined up. One guy gets hurt. And this is the fight that they both want. What do you do? You don't show the guys the respect. And I guarantee you this, if Stipe wins, Stipe's going to retire. You know what I mean? This will be Stipe's last fight. So are you, the media, telling me I should just tell Stipe to fuck off and, good luck to you, Stipe. Right off into sunset. Go fight some fires and that's a wrap for you, buddy. Because Jon got hurt? Or do I show this guy the respect that I should show him and give them both the fight that they want? That's the position I'm in. We had this thing lined up, and again, like you said, if Stipe was 32 years old, then yeah, then that's probably what we do. But this is probably Stipe's last fight, win or lose, and I'm not going to disrespect the guy. He accepted the fight, he was ready for the fight, and Jon got injured. If you don't think that I wouldn't love to just say, hey, let's do fucking Stipe and one of the top 3 heavyweights, and then we do Jon Jones versus, it would be great. But we already agreed to this with these guys. We already had a deal, and Jon got hurt. It's not like I'm trying to pull off some fucking, fight nobody wants to see, or not give Aspinall's a young, badass dude. He's got plenty of time. These guys are going to fight in November. And he will fight Jon Jones if he wins. I almost guarantee you that. And if Stipe wins, then we'll figure out what's next for Aspinall.
So if Stipe were to happen to win, does Aspinall become the full champion given you said?
Then who knows too. Let's see if Stipe wins and Stipe feels great. Maybe Stipe does take the fight. I don't know. I'm just saying, me right here and now, I think that if Stipe wins, Stipe probably retires. But you never know until the fight's over. Anything can happen in a fight. Stipe could go in there and win spectacularly, and he beats the greatest fighter of all time, and maybe he wants to test himself against Aspinall, and maybe the money's right, and it all lines up, and he wants it. Who knows? But I made a deal with these 2 guys that they could fight each other, and one guy got hurt, now he's ready, and the fight's going to happen. And Jon Jones is the pound-for-pound best fighter.